don't need any kind of splish-splash magic to make a difference. A real warrior knows the best way to help those in need is to give them money. And you can do that by going to our patreon.com/WassessCastProductions. For less than the cost of the third boomerang you've lost this week, you can support our show as bonus episodes, exclusive content, and early access just for you. Again, that's patreon.com/WassessCastProductions. It's the best deal this side of the water tribe.
Women in a podcast? Next you'll be telling me I have to change my customs and traditions to allow for equal pay and more diverse hiring practices. Ha! Welcome to the After Credits Cast, the only film podcast to be designed, developed, and produced by a multicultural team of various beliefs, sexual orientations, and gender identities. And unlike Ubisoft, we actually mean it. I am your host, AJ Waseska, and I'm joined by my co-host, Ryan Metters.
Hello.
And, of course, our guest this week is, once again, Chaz Machamer.
Ayo! Machamer, are you for real?
This is Machamer. I always go back and forth.
You know how to say my last name.
I go back and forth on it.
Boy.
I go back and forth on it.
This guy. Okay, continue.
By the way, shout out to Ubisoft. Love you guys for your horribleness. We got some links down below to various platforms of choice, including Patreon, YouTube, HIPAA, iTunes, or Apple Podcasts. Haven't done that in a while. Google Play, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, TuneIn, Podcast Addict, etc., etc. You can also follow us on Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook. And Ryan, if they want to email us, where could they email us at?
They can email us at Katara is a motherfucking badass, and I'm so happy to see. Sorry. Getting ahead of myself. That's evacstation@gmail.com.
Gotta say, kind of weird she picked up all those really cool fight moves, like, just out of the blue. But, yeah.
Right? Like, we could have been using that every time Zuko's shown up, Chief. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, I mean...
I'm just wondering, like, did she, like, moonlight with some secret master in the previous episodes just to be like, hey, I need to learn how to fight, so when I fight this sexist dude, I can do it. What do you know?
John taught her.
John taught her.
Yeah, John taught her. It has been kind of established that they have been learning from the cursed waterbending scroll. So she's been like steadily getting better, but we haven't gotten to see her really steal the fucking spotlight and like up until now. So yeah, the jump to just, you know what, I'm actually combat ready. I'm gonna fight this fucking master real fast was a bit out of left field, but it was still really, really good because she doesn't fall into Sakura syndrome where she's just constantly bitching and not really adding anything.
Unless you bring up her mom.
This episode pulls her out of that. What's that?
Unless you bring up her mom.
Yeah, unless you bring up her mom.
No, every time you say combat ready, my first thought goes to Penny from Ruby. Like, just seeing Katara get all, like, in the pose, be like, I'm combat ready. Let's do it.
There you go. There you go.
So for side A, before we get to the really fun episode, we're going to be talking about the Northern Air Temple, originally airing November 4th, 2005, directed by Dave Filoni, and written by Elizabeth Welsh Ezaz, who you might remember that last name because Aaron Eaz is one of the other prominent writers of this show. So yeah, little bit of a married couple there. From what I understand, they are no longer married.
Oh.
This episode was animated by DR Movie. The cast has some new names, including Daniel I'm gonna mispronounce this one. Simones? I think Simones.
Simones, yeah.
Simones. Okay. I don't know where I was going with that one. As Tio, the kid, in the wheelchair.
Teo.
Is it Oh, god damn it.
This guy freaking out here calling this man Tio.
Dude, it's been a minute since I've seen this episode. It's been a minute.
Hey, yo, what's up, Tio? How you doing?
Tio
isn't that Auntie
Spanish,
in
It's
Spanish?
It's uncle.
Oh, it's uncle.
Tia is auntie.
Yes,
Tio
thank
is
you.
So we have Uncle here.
Yes, uncle.
We have
Yes, the man
Renee.
from Uncle.
We have Renee, French last name, as the mechanist.
Yep.
We have Christopher Tabori as Emissary Quinn, or Keen. Yeah, Keen.
It's Christopher, dog. It's Christopher. Come on.
No. It's got the word offer in it, so it's Christopher.
Dog. Come on.
And Clyde Kusatsu as the storyteller, a very minor, very important character, all at the same time. Who actually is not even mentioned in my synopsis. So there you go. Ryan, you have some fun facts for us, other than my lack of pronunciation. Yeah, go for it.
Those are fun, but yeah, no, we have some other fun facts for you guys. Sokka and Macanius' idea of adding the scent of rotten eggs to gas to identify the source of the leak is similar to the real-world process of adding. God damn you.
Can you say it right? I want to know.
Wow, hold on, what the hell? There's an extra TH in there I didn't expect. Sorry. Damn it! Something close to ethanol. God damn it!
Chaz, would you like to help him?
Close to it.
Hell if I know how to say it.
Oh, okay. I thought you did.
He's like, I want to hear you say it right. Well, okay, you. Because
I want to know how to say it.
Well, I'm gonna just highlight this, copy it into Google, and see how to translate.
Ethane thiol. I'm guessing. Ethane thiol. Well, the E gas to otherwise odorless LPG to make it detectable for humans. So it's based in a real life method. So kudos. Kudos on the inspiration.
Yeah, right. I've got it right here.
Ethanol.
Ethanol. There we go.
Ethanol. Get my robot on real fast. All right, next up. On the desk in the Macanius office are plans for the Fire Nation drill that was later employed in the drill, and I'm real mad that I missed that in a massive foreshadowing bit.
A lot of foreshadowing in this episode, like just enough.
Well, our final fun fact for this one. This episode marks the first appearance of the steampunk elements that will later become a substantial part of the series story, as well as that of the Legend of Korra. So yeah, we get to see the seeds of industry in this episode that will become like really, really huge in the next show.
Like I said, I really like a lot of what this episode sets up. It's not the most it's not the most like exciting episode, but it does set up a lot of like building blocks for future stuff. So it's interesting to say the least.
Yeah.
Are you boys ready for a synopsis?
Yes, hit me.
The gang takes one final side trip to yet another abandoned air temple, only to find some non-airbenders are living there in some sacrilegious fashion and desecrating the temple with their steampunk bullshit. Aang is upset at first, but kind of gets over it by the end until they find the mechanist in charge is building weapons for the Fire Nation. He apologizes and agrees to stand up to the Fire Boys, but fighting happens, and the people living in the temple are forced to leave because it blows up harder than the Nakatomi Tower.
Wow!
The Fire Nation recovers some of the tech from the debris, leading to some very bad shit in the third season. Oh, just you wait.
Yeah, as long as we have air superiority, we got this.
Spoke a little too soon, guys. A little too soon.
We jinxed it. We jinxed it for 2 seasons from now. We just jinxed ourselves.
Man, I cannot wait to talk about the look on Sokka's face when he sees those blimps. He's like, motherfucker. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Sokka to death, but man, this is just one moment where it just kind of fucking slaps him in the face.
Yep.
So between the drill plants and the war balloons, what are your thoughts on these bits of foreshadowing coming down the road?
I think they're very well established. Like it starts off as like being like something that you hate or that you really don't like because you're feeling like with Aang is like how they're desecrating like the temple, but Like you learn that the spirit behind these inventions are really good, and they're keeping in tandem with like the spirit of the air temple. So that's really cool. But I think ultimately it speaks towards how technology in and of itself is only as bad as the people wielding it, because you have the mechanist who's building useful people that live with him and for his son, and like all of these amazing ideas and inventions. And the moment that the Fire Nation gets their hands on them, they become weapons of mass destruction. So it's really just whoever's actually got it. That's the direction that the technology goes. I think it's well set up in this episode.
I think, I couldn't agree more. I think it's really well set up. I think they pretty much just do their thing. I mean, you know, I didn't really feel while watching this through my first watch through, and even like going forward in all my watch throughs, I don't ever really feel like this is a critical episode. Like if you watch the show and took this out, you wouldn't really be missing much. You just be like, oh, they now have airships. Oh, they have a giant drill. Like, you know, it's not like huge.
It's an episode for the eagle-eyed viewers, that's for sure.
Yeah. But it's still really cool, and I see the next question, so I'll save the rest of my discussion about this until you ask the next question.
Fair enough. I like it. It kind of reminds me of...
Reading ahead, boo!
I kind of like it. I feel like it reminds me of the seeing the map with Wakanda on it in Iron Man 2, where it's like just a subtle background detail, like, oh, okay, that'll come into play later, and it does, many movies later, and I think that's the same thing here. The lesson to learn here, DC Comics movies, is that sometimes subtle world building is the best way to go, instead of just throwing a trailer of another character in the middle of your movie.
I can't wait to see if they've learned that lesson. Oh shit! If they did, I'll be so impressed.
Can you imagine if this show took on the DC movie mentality, and you just saw a trailer for the drill episode like in the middle of this episode?
Yes.
Oh, that'd be so hilarious.
It'd be so bad. It's so
Hilariously
sad that
bad.
that's what happened. That's what happened to the DCU. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So, Chaz alluded to this already. Do you agree with Aang's initial reaction in regards to the temple is treated and the possible paving over of the culture of his people? Why or why not?
All right, so.
Get him. Go ahead.
No! Oh, freaking course not! Like, you know, I am a white male.
No shit, really?
Okay? But I am, right? So, the things that have happened in, I live in America, and the things that have happened in American history
Not
to
great.
the native population,
Not great.
and the paving over and the desecration of their culture,
Not great.
I absolutely don't agree with. It's not great. It's terrible, actually. Like, oh yeah, you get to have, this little tiny plot of land when you used to have all this stuff, but you sold it to us for a bead. It's like, okay, really? Come on, guys. We know that that's not right. So I absolutely don't agree with the desecration of holy sites and things like that. That being said, it was abandoned for 100 years. So I don't necessarily agree with it, but I can understand why they would feel like, we had nowhere else to go. No one was living here, nobody was here, for over 100 years. I mean, what did you want us to do? Keep living with no home, no shelter? Do I think they could have treated the place with a lot more respect and reverence?
Yeah.
100%. That'd be like me walking into Rocky Mountain National Forest and being like, or National Park, and being like, yeah, I'm gonna start my coal mining plant over there and just destroy this entire mountain. Pikes Peak, gone. Miss me with it. you know, like, or going on to some other sacred, you know, like an actual like sacred place and being like, yeah, I'm gonna drill an oil well here, you know. Like, it's one thing for them to nomadically come there and be like, we need a place to live, and they live there, they farm there, they have a society there. Yeah, absolutely, over time they are going to change the landscape. I understand that, but like, to blow out or to like blow up the walls and to shove steam pipes through stuff, you know, I mean, that's, I don't know. For me personally, that's really just spitting in the face of the culture that was there previously and not showing them any respect whatsoever. Um, and then, I mean, moving on, you have, I mean, even in like the real world, that stuff happened a lot more than it happens nowadays, at least that we see.
I'd say it still happens, so it just doesn't get as much coverage as it should.
Absolutely. Like with that, what was that big oil pipeline that happened a few years ago that cut through the native land, right? And
yeah.
they went there to protest it, and the government came through. Yeah, the government came through with all of their mercenaries and kicked them all out and was like, nah, we don't care about your land. We need this oil pipeline right here. And it's like, okay, I understand that the country is evolving and we need these commodities. I get that. But show some respect for the people who were here before you in their sacred land. Like,
the people you've repeatedly wronged for generations, you know?
Absolutely. Right? Like, for generations, it's been just like, they'll live. Give them a little bit less land over in, like, Oklahoma. They'll figure it out. Like,
give them another bead. Man. It's fine.
Yeah. Give them a couple beads. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. You know, and it's just, it's wild to me, and I think it happens all over the world. It happened a lot during in Japan during Japanese history, during the different, like, you know, the Edo the Edo period. Edo period, during, you know, and when we had like all the samurai wars and all the, I mean, or like all the different conflicts that happened over there, they would go in and they would just like desecrate things. If you read, like, for example, if you read like the Judeo-Christian Bible, like the earlier books for like Levitical Jews and things like that, and Hasidic Jewish people, if you read their history, what they would do, what like the Philistines and like what the quotes enemies in those books would come and do is when they would take over a town or something, they would desecrate the temple with like pig's blood and stuff, which was considered non-sacred and unclean, so it would make that an unclean place. So I personally view this episode like they are desecrating that space, because they haven't been there for generations. They've literally probably lived there for a few years, and they're already like busting down the walls. You know, that'd be like me coming to live with Ryan and then being like, yeah, I don't like where you put your couch, and then I just shove it through a wall.
Okay. Let me step in at that point, because I think this episode tackles some very, very tricky subjects, but I think it does it very, very well. The idea that the air nomads, the air nation, had been eradicated and had not been there for hundreds of years, and these new people moved into the temple and were kind of paving over everything. The thing that strikes me as really, really important to this is not the extenuating circumstances of the fact that they were literally homeless and they had nowhere else to go, and that they needed to be here to survive. But really, it was the understandable reverence that they had towards the place, but it was kept in balance with the needs of the people that were actively living there. Because the mechanists would only be like expanding things as their group grew and as they needed more things. It wasn't like they were just paving over it to make a fucking condo. You know, it's like everything that they did with purpose in order to serve the people that lived there, and they tried to maintain as much of the temple as they could in the course of it. That's why I really liked it. Of course, at the beginning, you share in Aang's disgust because it's kind of like, it's like the antithesis of everything that the air nomads would want, but the spirit of freedom and of taking care of your fellow man was alive and well in that community. And so ultimately, I feel like they really navigated it very, very well. Particularly because then you get the stuff in the hands of the Fire Nation, who is absolutely like, oh yeah, no, fuck these people, knock down their temple just so that they have no hope, and then we'll go ahead and we'll put a mini mall over there. Fuck it.
A mini mall, there you go.
Dude, I want to hear the Fire Lord talk about putting up mini malls. That'd be great.
As a means of population control, we must put places where they can congregate.
And then burn it all to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I am gonna weigh in and say that I am mostly in agreement with Chaz in this one, because having descended from Native American culture, having read about it, having read about the Japanese stuff, historically speaking, yeah, this is kind of uncomfortable. I think, Ryan, you're not wrong, though. I think they do try to balance it out the best they can. I would have preferred that they, in Aang's situation, they weren't as destructive with certain parts of the temple. Like, do your best to minimize the destruction of the place as best you can, because, like, a lot of this is still really, like, historically important, and a lot of it's going to get lost to history if we just destroy it and pave over it. Yeah. Much like Native American culture right now, actually. But I think the thing that's a real kick in the teeth that I would be more mad at than as Aang would be the fact that not only do you guys live here and are doing this stuff, but you're also at least the Mechanist. He's working with the Fire Nation, which are the people who genocided the Airbenders. I feel like that's the step too far and kind of ultimately sucks. Which I get is the point of the episode, but in Aang's position, yeah, that would make me the most mad.
But like, yeah, and like completely understandably, of course, he's furious about that. But when you put yourself in the Mechanist's shoes, what do you do instead?
You build a tank and roll those motherfuckers over.
I mean, keep in mind, they're only able to really fight back against the Fire Nation because the Avatar and his group of fucking peerless warriors showed up to help them out with that. If it was just them by themselves, they would have been killed.
That's why you build a tank, bro. Build a tank. So I guess it gets me to my next question. Was the Mechanist right to metaphorically sell his soul to the Fire Nation and keep his helm? Wow. See,
right?
I can feel it coming. You're maneuvering me into another fucking, well, God told them to do it moment. Like, I can feel it. I can absolutely feel it.
I am not. So, is it right? No. Do I understand? Hell yeah.
There it is.
So, yeah. I mean, take that for what you will. I mean, it's also, like in World War II, there was people that were German that didn't agree with Hitler's plans and Hitler's goals and ambitions and what he was doing, but they were like, if I don't, he's gonna kill my family and my kids. So like, screw it. Like you gotta do what you gotta do to protect yourself and your family. Whether or not that's selfish, I mean, yeah, it is, but I'm gonna be honest, I can understand it.
I think the biggest point at that, like the biggest thing at that point is to accept the reality of the decisions he had to make, but still understand how wrong it was that he did that. Like, it was an impossible choice, and he picked the less bad option, but that doesn't mean it wasn't bad. It means he picked the less bad option. It's like, I can either watch my son and the people that are following me die horrible deaths, or I can make weapons that will cause the deaths of other people and save the people closest to me. That's still bad. That's still absolutely horrible, but that's a choice that he had to make, and he made it. I don't think he shies away from that decision, and that's why I like the Mechanist as a character. Like, he tries to at the beginning, but Aang really makes him like look at that for what it was, and he makes the decision to try to atone for his past wrong, bad choices to help the Avatar and to kind of undo the harm that he did.
Perhaps, but I think if I were in the Mechanist's shoes, I would agree to help, but I would do so in a very half-assed, crappy way. Like, yeah, I'm gonna make you weapons. You're not gonna find out until like 3 months from now they're not gonna work very well. Yeah, I'll make you that giant starship. There's gonna be a big glaring weak spot on it. Don't worry about it though. It's just an air vent. It's fine.
I mean, and you do get into that sort of situation though, right? Where like,
especially in wartime, where all the good options are gone. Like literally, like all the good options are gone. So now it's less bad. You aim for less bad.
And I mean, you honestly, I mean, potentially he could have been doing that the whole time. I mean, if you look at those tanks, to be honest with you, once they figure out how to destroy them, they're not really that big of a threat, right? They're kind of more just like cannon fodder because they're not that strong. You know?
Well, to be fair though, you didn't know how to destroy them until a metal bender showed up.
Well, no, Katara does in that episode, doesn't she?
Day of Black Sun.
No, and because they figure out that they're controlled by water, so she like uses water bending to freeze it. So like they figure out how to destroy him and get rid of them.
They should have enough people to do it.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things where it's like I very much understand why he's doing what he's doing, and whether or not it's right or wrong, I would probably I'd probably do the same thing in his shoes. I would, I'd be like, listen, I'm going to do my best so that way we can survive. Me and all of these people that are with me that have trusted me to look out for them, we can function. And as long as I am useful and helpful, I have nothing to worry about. And then we would go from there.
Next question I got here. Is it believable a kid at Sokka's age is as smart as he is? Why or why not?
All of our protagonists are fucking 1 in a million people. Like, all of them. They're all fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Aang is a bending prodigy, able to master all 4 forms of elemental fighting in the course of a summer. Toph literally fucking invents a new form of fighting. Katara becomes a master at 14 and is already an accomplished healer. Fucking Zuko, and Bloodbender. Zuko is beating full fucking generals and Agni Kais at 15, 16 years old. It absolutely makes sense that in this company, Sokka is like as good as he is to keep up. And the funny thing about that is that Sokka's always constantly feeling like he's behind all of the other people because he can't wave his hand and command the forces of nature to do his bidding. But his mind is like leagues above everybody else. And so I love that dude. He doesn't get enough respect. It absolutely is believable that he can stand amongst all of these amazing people.
We stand Sokka.
We stand Sokka in this house.
Considering I grew up with Lisa Simpson, who is sometimes comes off smarter and at the age of 8, yeah, I guess it is believable for a 15-year-old. By comparison.
Yeah. Like just with the sheer context of who he's running with, it makes sense. Honestly, it makes sense. you couldn't have you couldn't have Cabbage Man fucking running with the gang. You couldn't do it. He's not good enough. He would have died on the first mission. So the fact that Sokka has been able to keep up this far, yeah, he 100% deserves all the shit that he's pulling off.
This week on Side Beat, we're covering The Waterbending Master, originally airing November 18th, 2005, directed by Giancarlo Volpe and written by Michael Dante DiMartino. Animated by JM Animation. The cast adds a few new names again. Lucille Bliss as Yugoda. Kyon Yun as Captain Lee. I think we've seen that name before, but this is a different character.
Wasn't he Zhang Zhang?
Oh, yeah, you're right, he was. You know, when they say they guest on an episode, I don't always remember who was on what, unless I've seen that character before. So
yeah.
So it throws me off a little bit. John Polito as Chief Arnook. Victor Brandt as Master Paku, later Grand Paku, and then
Grandpa.
and then Johanna Brady as Princess Yue. I still love Grand Paku. It's great.
Grand Paku is perfect.
Ryan, do you have a fun fact or two for me?
I have only one fun fact for you. You don't get two. You only get one.
Oh, no.
Right? According to the DVD commentary for this episode, Master Paku's waterbending trick of trapping Katara in a cage of icicles was inspired from a scene in House of Flying Daggers. And I know exactly what scene he's talking about. It makes me really want to watch that movie again now. I haven't seen it in a while. But yeah, as soon as I saw it, I was just like, oh, I know that trick. I know that trick.
Not a lot of fun facts, but a lot of good talking points up ahead, so we'll jump straight to the synopsis here for you guys.
Let's do it.
The gang has finally made it to the Northern Water Tribe. About goddamn time. Sokka tries to get laid, but is cock-blocked by an engagement. Katara tries to learn waterbending, but is cock-blocked by chauvinistic customs of a Northern patriarch. And Aang tries to teach her in secret, but is discovered and cock-blocked by an old man who holds up these customs harder than a manga supporter holds up their right to not wear a mask.
Jesus, that's too real. Oh, no.
Katara challenges the old man into a waterbending Agni Kai, but we don't have a name for it, so Aqua Kai?
Aqua Kai!
Hey.
She loses badly because he's a master with years of experience. But he discovers that she is the granddaughter of a woman he once loved, so he decides to say fuck it to years of tradition and customs and teach her waterbending anyway. Also, Zuko is nearly killed by pirates that Chaz hates. They're hired by Starburns. He is stowed away on the Admiral's ship by Iroh in hopes of catching the Avatar. Next week. Yep, that's the synopsis right there.
Nice.
That's good. That's a good synopsis. I like.
Dude, we need an Aqua Kai. Like that.
You know what?
Next
Next time I go outside and I see an old person not wearing a mask, I'm going to challenge them to an Aqua Kai.
Dude, do it. That'd be great.
Oh, it's so good.
Just have a hose on your hands, just like shoot it with water. It'd be great.
Yeah, I'm just
So
gonna
good.
pull out a super soaker and be like, let's go.
Yes.
I'm just gonna get ice from my freezer and throw it at people.
Put on your fucking mask. Okay. Sorry.
Well, the good part is it'll be refreshing.
True.
So I got some few discussion questions here. This episode obviously hit some points, but we'll get right to it. Why did Zhao think it's necessary to kill Zuko? And were you expecting the pirates to ever come back at all?
Honestly, they just needed somebody to put a bomb on there. That's all they needed.
They needed people that weren't from the Fire Nation, that were familiar with how ships are constructed. So the pirates were actually the fit to fucking sabotage the ship. Like
Plus,
actually,
Plus, they have
it's a good
motivation.
use of-
Plus, they have motivation.
Yeah, plus they have motivation. Yeah.
Yeah, and the viewer needed to be aware of who they are and all that stuff, but I don't know, man. I was like, really?
This 16-year-old tricked me out of a scroll. I'ma blow him up.
Yeah, like, I'm literally gonna go kill the 16-year-old kid.
I mean, they were gonna go kill Katara and Aang and the rest to take it in
Fair.
the first place. So
Yeah, it's very true. These were not like jolly old pirates, you know, like these weren't those guys.
savvy.
But like I think Zhao moving to kill Zuko is a natural progression of both of their arcs. I think we've seen the what you call it. We've seen them clash like enough, and we have a better understanding of Zhao's motivations to know that him sneakily killing Zuko to make sure he doesn't fuck up the plan to kill the Avatar at this point makes total sense, because
Absolutely.
this is the guy who burnt all the fucking ships that he came on at the chance to try and kill the Avatar. Like fucking up this banished prince and just getting him out of your hair once and for all. That's child's play. It's child's play. Do that.
I absolutely agree. I mean, I have nothing more to add to that.
Yeah, I think I think not going from Zhao's perspective, but just going from a general, broad, like third-party observer, a little excessive. I don't think once you take away Zuko's crew, he's kind of neutered, and he can't do anything to you or to stop your plans or get in the way. I think by trying to kill Zuko, you actively make him want to stop you. So,
Here's the thing. I just realized why he moves to do it. At the beginning of the episode, he notices the broadsword.
Oh yeah, no, that's totally the
and
reason.
he puts two and two together. It's like, this fucking dude is the blue spirit. No, just kill him. I'm tired of him. Just get rid of him.
Yep, we done with it.
He's already by realizing that Zuko is the blue spirit, he also realized that Zuko by himself fucked up his initial capture of the Avatar. So taking away his crew doesn't neuter him worth shit, because he was able to do the blue spirit not mission by himself. So yeah, he's got to kill him. He has to. Otherwise, he'll just fuck it up in some spectacular way again. Like,
but he
surprisingly,
does anyway.
I think. Well, I mean, yeah, he does it anyway. But surprisingly, I think, like, his outing as the blue spirit makes Zhao respect him a little more, because he realizes that he's not just some fucking failure of a 16-year-old that is so inept that he'll fuck up the plan, but rather him by himself can actively fuck up a plan that he puts together. So he's like, okay, yeah, I gotta take him out. Fuck it.
Yeah. I don't know if respect is the word I'd
I'm
use.
sorry it took me that long. It's just I haven't seen the episode in a minute.
I don't think respect is the word I use. I think it's more he hates Zuko more.
He also does just straight up hate Zuko.
Well, because Zuko beat his cheeks in an Agni Kai in front of his, like, what's the thing, like, do them dirty in front of their squad, and that's exactly what Zuko did to him. Like, just did him dirty in front of his squad.
And of course, Iroh's like, no, don't sully your victory. Like, don't fuck him up, even though he's not worth your time. Like, so yeah. It's just like pouring salt on the wound. Yeah.
And he's
he
like, yes, so this is how the great Admiral Zhao acts in the face of defeat. Huh? You little pussy. And he's just like, oof.
I hope.
Yes, queen.
I hope in the live action version, if they do it, they cut away to Zhao and his crew, like, after the Agni Kai, and he sits down at lunch and just eats some food, and you hear his crew behind him just making fun of him, but they're trying to be very subtle about it, but failing miserably, and you just see the anger in his face as they just keep going and going and won't let it go, and it just builds up into this fucking asshole of a character that goes on for the rest of the series. That'd be so fun. I'd love it. Next question. If Iroh is aware of Aang's destiny to stop the Fire Lord, eventually, then why is he okay helping Zuko try to catch the Avatar? Especially knowing how dangerous the frozen wastes of the Northern Water Tribe can be.
Because Zuko needs to find his own path, and that is what Daddy Iroh is all about. Is helping Zuko find his path.
So if he does so let's say hypothetically speaking, Zuko manages to get at Aang and gets him back to some kind of transport for him and Iroh and to get Aang to the Fire Nation. Does Iroh allow Aang to actually get to the Fire Lord?
That's a huge question, and honestly, I don't know.
I would
Honestly.
probably say no, because many times in the series, or not many times, but a few times in the series, he's like, he helps the Avatar. He's like, yo, we out here, boys.
Well,
You
so
know.
here's the thing, though. I think throughout all of this, even when he decides to help the Avatar and to help the rest of his crew, it's all in service to Zuko, because Zuko has either been in trouble, or Zuko's been in some type of peril to the point where he would need to help the Avatar. I think Iroh's chief concern is Zuko figuring his shit out, and he has dedicated himself to helping him do that in whichever way is possible. I think that stuff really starts to come to a head in book 2.
Yeah.
Where Zuko really wants to pull some evil shit, and Iroh's like, no, fucking, you have to think about some shit for yourself. Are you doing what you want to do, or are you doing what you think will get you the thing you think you want? Like what people are telling you should want. You have to decide who you are and what you want. But that doesn't come for a while. So in book 1, I think we're just seeing the precursor to that, where he's not taking a very hands-on approach, but rather he's just trying to loosely guide him and help him in his path. I don't think helping the Avatar and the whole mission of the White Lotus and to have the Avatar overthrow the Fire Lord, I honestly don't think that's on Iroh's mind at any point in book 1.
That's fair.
And if it
That's
is, then
fair.
it's very well hidden. But I don't think so.
I would love to just, I know he's a fictional character, but I'd love to just ask Iroh myself, okay, buddy, let's say Zuko gets him. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna just let this happen? Because you know full well that ain't a good deal. I would love
full well, your brother, your sociopathic brother is gonna fucking kill this 12-year-old,
or
so
just
that
bury
he
him in
can
the
go and
deepest
burn
dungeon.
the rest of the world.
Or just bury him in the deepest dungeon so the
Oh, yeah.
Avatar doesn't help him at all.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, no, I would love to pick his
So
brain on
yeah,
that one.
that's a big question. That's honestly something that only Iroh could answer. That's something that we can speculate, but yeah.
So Brian and Michael,
That's a very deep question.
Brian and Michael, if you're out there, I would love to get that answer. What would Iroh have done if that had ever happened, or was that
Get him on the podcast.
Yeah, let's make it happen.
Honestly, if I could ask them one question, that would be it. That would be the biggest question I'd need answered.
Which is funny because there's so many other questions you'd think you'd ask, but then when you think about it, it's what would Iroh have done? Okay, now for the biggest question of the episode, I think. Is Katara wrong for demanding change of another tribe's customs? Or is a tribe wrong for these customs existing in the first place? What are your thoughts in regards to traditions and customs that aren't fair to certain genders, races, identities, etc.? And what is the best way to respond to those following such traditions?
I like how you started with a pretty big question and then
just kept going.
Kept asking bigger questions, as follow-ups?
So how do you want to unpack this?
Aaron, you asking a lot. You asking a lot at 10:36 at night, buddy. All right, so
for Ryan, it's 10:35. It's fine.
So
it's 10:37, dog. What are you talking about?
Oh my gosh,
time
this
travel.
Guy being out here.
Yep, time travel. Cagliostro.
So I would say that she is right to try to change another tribe's customs. I would say she doesn't. I mean, she goes about it, and I would say a pretty good way to start off. She starts off being respectful, but not as respectful as she probably should be. But then when that doesn't get her where she should be, or where she feels she needs to be, she's like, all right, man, we about to dance then. Put them up. Let's see what's up, and then they kind of go from there. I think that she... So I mean, I think she has every right to change customs. I mean, otherwise, I mean, look at the United States, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where would we be if our customs hadn't changed since the country was founded? We
Fair.
would probably still have slavery,
Ugh.
and by probably I mean definitely. And if not slavery, we would have more civil rights issues than we already do. We're still working on that one though. It's a process. Fingers crossed we'll get there.
So hopefully within our lifetime.
But I mean, yeah, God, right? Jiminy Christmas. Let's hope so. But I mean, I think that change is good, and I don't ever think change is easy. And I think that the show does a really good job of saying, if something is worth it, then you have to fight for that change. Whether or not it offends people, whether or not it really breaks down your own culture. For example, there are those in the United States that believe that minorities are a lesser species, right? Because that's how they were brought up in their home. That's what their parents believe. That's what their parents, all the way back. That's their culture. Not necessarily just in X place or Y or whatever, but like all over, because that's what they believed. Well, to truly break that cycle, a change in that culture has to be made, and it's not ever fun. It's never seamless. It's never easy. In order for them to be like, hey, this isn't right. And in this case, it's a very sexist thing to say women can't fight. Like, you'd think we are in the middle of a 100-year war. We need every person that has the ability to get out here on the front lines and beat some cheeks. But no, they're over here. They're like, no, women only can heal. We don't, no, get out of here. No, and to us as the viewer, that's wrong. And we're like, come on, teach her like teach her, but to them, that's just how it's always been. And that's the excuse that a lot of people make, is that's how it's always been. That's our culture, stuff like that. You ain't going to take away my heritage.
Wave a flag of a dead country.
And it's like, yeah, right, of the losers, literally. But like, you'd think and you'd think that would be common sense, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it's not. It's not common sense when that's what you've been taught your whole life. You have no other frame of reference outside of your own mind. I mean, you can think that you're good at putting yourself in someone else's situation, but you truly cannot understand that unless you've been there. You can sympathize with it to an extent, but you can't be there. Like, I'll bring Ryan into this because we're boys, but like, I do not know what it's like to be a black man in America. I don't. Have no idea. Can I sympathize with some of the things that he has to experience because of that? Absolutely. I've seen things, on the news, online. I've seen things with my own two eyes. I have friends that are black. I have family that is black. I understand that. But I do not actually understand that. And the culture that is surrounding in this country, or in this case in the show, it has to be changed. Because in the show, they are stuck in their ways, and they are not looking towards the future. They're not going to allow things to progress for them in a healthy way. And again, in the beginning, she's respectful and nice, and she tries to get it done, and she tries to go about it the right way, and she's like, nah, Aang, I understand, you need your training, I'll just go do my womanly duties, right? Which is bull. But she's like, I got you. So, and then she's like, all right, fam, I tried being nice, I tried doing things my way, you're not listening, let's throw hands. And I think she has, I legitimately believe that she or anybody else has any right, that if you disagree with something, provided it is causing harm or alienating other people, You know, like obviously me saying, "Hey, Aaron, give me your lunch," and you say no, I'm not gonna fight you.
Fuck you,
'cause
you
that's
ain't
your
get my lunch.
right? But like, you know, but if it's something that's harming somebody, something that's an imminent danger, or something that's alienating people, or segregating people, whether it's male, female, black, white, Asian, whatever, it doesn't matter. That is a culture that should not be accepted and should be changed. So, yeah, there's my long-winded answer to the frickin' Jiminy Christmas question that you just asked.
I mean, you covered a fair bit. I appreciate that.
Whew.
Ryan, what do you want to weigh in on that one?
I think, first of all, I do agree with a lot of what Chaz just said. I think for this story in particular, and leaning and kind of attaching back to the larger question at hand, is that this form of prejudice, and this it stems from ignorance. Think about it. The Northern Water Pole, like the water pole. Wow. The Northern Pole Water Tribe, the North Pole Water Tribe. Shut up. The Northern Water Tribe hasn't connected with the Southern Water Tribe in decades, and because of the political climate outside, and because of the fact that the Fire Nation is trying to eradicate the fucking waterbender, the Water Tribe, like they did the Air Tribe, they have to remain very isolated in order to keep their defenses up. And because of that, their outlook and their culture it becomes stagnant. It becomes repressed because they're not getting a lot of outside interaction. Katara is the first Southern Water Tribe member that they meet in decades. Now look forward a little bit to book 3, when we, spoiler alert, find that there is another surviving Southern waterbender who is a woman, and it's amazingly implied that she is combat trained.
She's combat ready.
So, she's absolutely combat ready. So, the Southern Water Tribe was doing it much different than the Northern Water Tribe, and it never occurs to Katara that a waterbender wouldn't be able to fight simply because of her gender. So she has to overcome decades of ignorance because the Northern Water Tribe isn't caught up. Like, you get to the Water Tribe and it's beautiful, and you see that it's deeply rooted in culture, and it's a really amazing place. It's gorgeous, and there are people there living wonderfully, but you also see the downside to their isolation, and it's this ignorance that she has to overcome. So she tries, like Chaz says, she tries to do it respectfully. She tries to adhere a little bit, but at the end of the day, she is meant to fight and not just heal, because there's nothing in her that says, I am less to my male counterparts. If they can fight, then I can fight. And she has to kind of show the reality of that statement by force at the end of the day. Chaz brought up the fact that she might not have gone about it as respectfully as she could have, but in the counter, Paku's an asshole. Like, Paku's a bit of a dick.
Right. And she is also 14 or however 14, old she is. Yeah. So like, understandable. Like, I wasn't. She did as best as she could.
Right. And age aside, from what we know of Katara at this point, like, she's not cowardly. If somebody stands up to her or challenges her, she's like, fucking square up. Okay, let's go. Like, I'm gonna show you why you're wrong. I'm not just gonna be like, okay, thank you, Master Paku.
Water Tribe.
All right, I guess I'll just go over here. Nah, fuck all that. Let's go. And so at the end of the day, her resorting to showing how worthy she is, absolutely makes sense. And it makes me mad that the only reason he relents is that she's connected to somebody he used to be in love with. But I still think the overarching message of, like the ignorance being overcome by connecting with people different from your worldview, I still think that rings true. So I'm not mad at that.
It would have been nice if at the end he just relented and said, you know what? You seem to know a lot more than what most of our waterbender guys know. Let's give you a shot and see how this actually goes. Like, it would have just been nice if he just admitted he was wrong.
I mean, so, but what's also, I think kind of extrapolating, her stubbornness matches Paku's stubbornness very, very well, to the point where I almost feel like him and her gran were very much like headbutting until like she forced him to relent. And so it wasn't necessarily just that he was in love with her gran, but rather that she is as strong as this woman who probably challenged him when he was younger as well. And it's just been so long that he had forgotten about that.
I can see that.
Right. Also, it makes sense, like towards like at the beginning or towards like at the end of this season, where Paku's like, you're gonna have to continue training, so you're gonna have to call Katara master. Like, that's a big jump from women can't fight to, okay, this 14-year-old girl is a master after a couple of months of training. That is a big jump, and I think as stubborn as he is, that's the closest he's gonna get to saying he was sorry.
Probably. I agree with both your answers. I think you both hit the nails on the head really good. I just want to add a quick quote from one of my other favorite shows, Rick and Morty. Tradition is stupid, pass the butter. So, next question I got here. I'm just going to flip an answer since you guys pretty much covered the wide spectrum there.
You asked like 8 big-ass questions.
I did.
You literally asked, like...
What is
like
the
this...
root of injustice and racism?
literally
That's essentially what the question was.
And bigotry. And, like, that's literally what you... Like, what did you expect to have happen, Aaron?
I love that we initially talked to the pre-roll about how they're going to make the live-action show darker, and then it's like, well, they're covering this much stuff in an episode here. Like, how much darker you want to get, guys?
They need to we need to show nudity and blood.
Oh, no.
I want to see Katara catching that shaft dog. I want to see Yue getting in Sokka getting it.
Speaking of which, I got one more question here for you. I think you've read ahead. Because we'll be talking about this, talking about a bunch of other stuff next week, because it's going to be a big week next week. Let's talk about it now with Yue. Thoughts on the character, thoughts on the relationship with Sokka. Is Yue best girl? Why or why not?
Nah, Yue is not best girl at any point in the show.
I can hear
out here.
I can hear Bo in the background.
On her mans.
I can hear Bo screaming from across the way.
She's out here cheating on her mans. Like, I don't know if either of you have ever had a girl run around behind you. Don't feel good.
Dog, this is an arranged marriage, though. She's not. That's not her man's by choice.
Listen, okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. Whether or not it's arranged, or not, okay, she still chooses to deceive and to lead Sokka on, even though he does not have a shot with her because of the marriage that has been arranged.
She lets him know. She does let him know.
She lets him know, but instead of being like, yo, we ain't gonna kiss, she still kisses him. Like, she's still macking on him hardcore and is like, yeah, I'm just gonna, yeah, we can just, lick each other a little bit, right quick. And then, oh my gosh, dude, I don't like her character. I don't know if it's her voice actor or actress or whatever you want to call her. I don't know if it's her voice. I just hate her character.
Wow, I'm real sad Bo couldn't be here, man. I mean, I'd pay tickets for this fight.
I hear him screaming from Iowa City. I really do.
Okay, next, you know, we'll next pre-show that he's on, we'll hash this out.
Okay.
Because I hate her. She's annoying. She's useless because she can't do anything.
Well,
Like, she is literal soccer
My man,
energy.
she literally sacrifices her. No, I'm getting ahead.
so here's
Bruh,
Getting ahead of myself.
bruh,
That's not the
bruh.
episode.
bruh.
here's my thing. Here's my thing.
All she does.
I feel like it's not so much she's like not useful, but I feel like she's very plot devicey. Like, I don't think she's really a character. She feels more like she's just there to serve the plot.
That's very true. That's
She's
very
useless. All she does is die.
For the
I
plot,
feel
yes.
She is literal Sakura energy. She's useless from day one, and then has like one little second where she does something and you're like, okay, cool. And then that's it. I don't care. Like, oh, she died. I have no feelings about this whatsoever because, one, her character was not interesting at all. At all. There was no character building. Like, if Sokka died, 100% would be sad because there's character building. You're attached to that character.
Can you imagine if Sokka
With
died
her,
and become
even
the moon
Suki,
spirit?
or like,
Dude,
Right?
tears. I'd have been pissed. I'd have been livid. I'd have been
Right?
fucking livid.
but like, again, I just at no point in the with her character was I ever like, oh, soccer. I mean, what's her name? Yue, best girl. Like, she can't fight. Her hair whack. Her clothes whack. The way that she talks whack. Right? But me, I'm tired as
Excited
fuck.
fuck.
Like,
I'm sorry.
like, at no point do I care about her. Right? Like, I just don't. I just don't
Right.
care.
All right. Hold on. Now,
I don't care what God says to tell or tells her to do. She had. Anyway, continue. Go ahead, Brian.
I think. All right. I somewhat agree. I think she largely exists to further the plot and to develop Sokka's character. I don't have any real animosity towards her because, you know, she's all of 15 years old, is told that she has to marry some fuckboy over here for the good of the tribe, and is resigned to a life of just drab, like doing her duty to her people, when along comes this goofy yet amazing and fucking intelligent Southern Water Tribe boy, and just fucking sweeps her off her feet. Like, at this point, she's dealing with the duty to her tribe and what she really wants as a person, and that's a very understandable struggle that she's having. Is she throwing out mixed signals? Absolutely. But A, she's 15, and B, she's dealing with a lot of shit that 15-year-olds should not have to deal with. So I'm not mad at her for that. She eventually tells him, like, look, I'm engaged. It's an arranged marriage, but we can't do this. And Sokka, full well knowing that that's what it is like, I still want to hang out, though. And she's like, fuck, this is a bad idea. Okay, you can hang out. This is a bad idea. So it is definitely plot devicey. Yue exists to further the plot and further Sokka's development, but I'm not mad at her for that. I don't like. She doesn't give off Sakura energy, where she's touted as like the most important, like one of the most important ninja ever, only to constantly just whine and be useless throughout fucking 500 episodes. It's not that. She's not here for that long. She's there. She advances the plot. She dies. I'm okay with this.
See, this is why I like One Piece better, because the women feel like they're more useful to the plot in that show.
Oh yeah, man. Nami's fucking
But, like-
controlling the weather. Get out of here.
Every other female in this show is very empowered.
Oh yeah, Katara,
Right?
Toph, Azula, they're all fucking monsters.
Yeah, like they're like the bomb, and then you got Yue that's like, I was sick as a little baby, and then the moon spirit. You're like, shut up, go die in a corner, like go become the moon, like go away, get Toph in here, get anybody else back in here, and best girl, not you, anybody else.
I would not call Yue the best girl. I do think her sacrifice is brave and noble, and it's worthy of respect.
It's like, no, see, it would be like, for me, right, okay?
No.
It'd be listen, Linda, okay? I'm not backing down.
Oh god.
It would be like if I took the controllers out of my Xbox, or my batteries out of the Xbox controller, right? And I put it in my TV remote, right? My batteries in I'm gonna eventually need this Xbox controller, so I'm gonna need those batteries back. That's all that was. Moon Spirit gave her some batteries and was like, all right, fam, I'm gonna need that back, and then got it back. Boom, done. That's all that it was.
That's such a gross fucking understatement. Oh my god.
That's all that it was.
But it's not entirely
What?
inaccurate,
What do
though.
you mean? What do you mean? That's all that it was. Sorry.
I can't wait for next week's pre-roll, because I want to hear him and Bo just duke it out.
Yes, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for that.
Because, I'm gonna be honest with you, she is not the series waifu.
No.
Not at all.
She's not the series waifu. No, that's not in contention. She's not the series waifu.
Well,
Okay.
it depends on who you ask, but yeah, no one here.
No, God. Pfft, I hope nobody. I
No,
hope
she-
nobody.
she's not the series waifu. But
Yeah.
she doesn't deserve this vitriol, man.
Well, speaking of vitriol, it's time to get to the final segment here where we discuss what these episodes are ranked. Before we do, again, reminder, Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, you can follow us there. And you can also follow us at our email. Ryan, what is that email?
That email is Yue did nothing fucking wrong. Chaz is wrong. At, sorry.
wrong.
That's evacstation@gmail.com.
I need
There
to-
you can send emails describing why Chaz is wrong.
I need to actually get an email
Or I'm
registered
wrong.
that is just Chaz is wrong at Gmail and just see
Chaz
how.
is wrong at gmail.com.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not wrong. I'm sorry. Like, but I don't know. I don't know what you want from me. I'm not wrong.
Well, if we want to talk about being wrong, let's talk about some reviews here. So, platinum to bronze, all the colors in between, where we get to rank the episodes. Let's start with the what is it? Western, Northern, what Air Temple? Northern Air Temple. That's what it is. There's like 4 of them. I got confused. So, Northern Air Temple.
Yeah, the cardinal directions, Aaron.
Listen.
There's 4 of them.
There's too many.
North, south, east, and west.
There's too many. Northern Air Temple. What do we want to rank this one?
I'm gonna go bronze. I think
Damn.
it's. I think it's a good episode. I like the fight. Like I like the battle scene. And the animation for it's really cool. But besides that, it didn't captivate me.
Ryan?
That's fair. I want to give it a, because of the sheer amount of foreshadowing and the fact that it's an episode where Sokka gets to shine, I want to give it a silver. It would honestly be on the lower end of silver, because there are some strong fucking silver episodes that we've talked about already and that we're gonna talk about later on. So this is a very low silver for me, but it's a good episode. It sets up a lot of stuff, and my boy Sokka gets to flex his brain. That, like, I couldn't ask for anything more out of this episode. So yeah, I'll give it a low silver.
I'm going to give it a high bronze, pretty much borderlining where Ryan's at.
Yeah.
I'd say it's not bad, but something's missing to really set it over the edge, to really make it stand out, but I don't know what it is exactly. But there's enough good things here that it's not, like, detestable, though, so that's good. Waterbending Master, what do we want to rank this one? This is a
Ryan,
tough. This is a
go
tough
ahead.
one. This is a tough one.
Ah, God. Oh, man. Okay, I'm stuck between silver and gold. And the reason why is because this is Katara's breakout episode. This is her shit. Like, she gets to take a stand and be like, "No, bitch, we here. We out here." I love that shit. Because she has much better episodes coming up, I'm going to give this a silver. But this is the beginning of a series of really, really awesome moments for Katara, where she really comes into her own and escapes the Sakura syndrome. I'm going to give it a very high silver.
Chaz?
I would give this a gold.
Ooh.
I would. But it's going to be a silver because there's way too much of that Princess Yue chickens. It's a silver. It's got to be a silver because
Wow.
like if you were to take her out of the episode completely, right? Completely out of the episode, it would be a gold. Solid gold. Because
But if you do that, though, who's Sokka gonna do?
Training is... Who cares? Go play with your boomerang. We don't need him for a little bit.
That's a euphemism
We need
for
him
something,
a couple
isn't it?
episodes. Yeah, he can go play. He can go put his boomerang in some other water tribe chick, or like have him be like looking at her, but don't give her any screen time. Like just have them off on a date or something. Who cares? But like the fight with Paku is amazing. It's super cool. Like you said, Ryan, Katara comes into her own. Aang starts his official waterbending training. I mean, like, it moves so much forward, finally. And then you got the of Princess Yue. So I would say I would say a very high silver, potentially a low gold.
I'm gonna go ahead and commit to the gold. I think that you're right. It does move a lot of stuff forward. Animation's solid. Katara does get a breakout moment, and while there are definitely more to come, I think the fact that this is the first major one is a key element to showing how good of a character she can be when she's not tied to just, oh, my mom's dead. I think the only flaws that keep it from really reaching platinum level is, I think Sokka's B story is not strong. I don't hate Yue, but I do think that you need to develop that relationship better in order for that relationship to be something worth caring about. And I don't think, because there's so much other stuff happening, you can't give it enough real estate in the narrative to do that. But if you had been able to, that could have made a much more interesting character for Yue and a much stronger relationship for Sokka, making the sacrifice we get to next week far more impactful. But as it stands, it just seems a little bit stapled on the side, just like, hey, don't forget about this, it's going to be important next week. So that's where I'm at on that one.
I agree. Those are good points.
So tune in next week when we talk about the finale of Season 1. We're finally here. It's going to be a great time. I also have an extra guest book next week, so stay tuned because we got to remind Ryan, or Ryan's going to remind us why he thinks God told him to do it.
Okay, fine. I get to defend myself. Okay, that's good. That'll be good.
Don't worry, Ryan. I made sure she's here for next week.
God damn it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. God told me to, Ryan. Not Yue, because we don't care about her.
She's not really God. She's a fake God.
Yeah, she's just a pair of batteries. She's just a pair of AA batteries. That's all she was. She was just. I had him on the charger quick.
Shit, my moonlight went out of battery. Hold on, let me replace those AA.
Let me quick grab this 15-year-old girl and All right, it got like cracker like a glow stick. All right, the moon's back, boys.
Cracker like a glow stick. I want it to be a meme. Cracker like a glow stick.
All right, boys, the moon's back.
Next week's gonna be a fucking riot. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you after the credits.
Goodbye.
UA sucks. Bye.
We're jumping over to side B.
Oh no.
Ryan, what's your timestamp at?
Oh, I'm 20 seconds behind you.
Oh, good lord.
Oh god.
So every 30 minutes, you're gonna lose 20 seconds. That's what we're learning here.
Great.
This
Are you
week,
time traveling?
you know what?
Cagliostro.
Maybe I'm going fast enough, like speed of light, where wait, would it be me going speed of light, or would it be Ryan going speed of light to lose time?
I'm going slower than you are, so gravity is heavier on your end.
Okay.
Theory of relativity.
I don't know how science works, magic.
Yeah.
So this week on
I
side
just watched Interstellar a couple nights ago. I think I'm right.
again, we just watched it like a few months ago.
It was that good. Needed to see it again.